Yeah, welcome to our first online bridge between Dortmund and Buffalo. We are very excited and thank you all for participating in advance. My name is Friederike Ophoff, for those who don't know me, and I work for the Auslandsgesellschaft. And I'm here with my colleague Margarete Thomas today. And with us is the president of the Auslandsgesellschaft, Mr. Klaus Wegener, who will welcome you in a minute. And today's moderator is Gerald Bars, who worked for many years as a correspondent for German television in New York. Of course, Lynn Engel, our project coordinator and partner in Buffalo, is here, along with her husband, Greg Engel, who is the chairman of the Buffalo Sister City Committee. And they, of course, have also been host family for our programs for several years. So welcome and thank you very much. Of course, welcome to all of you participants and host families of our high school program. We are very much looking forward to this conversation. And many thanks to the US Consulate for supporting the realization of this event. Unfortunately, the US Consul, Fiona Evans, cannot be present today, but she sent us a video message for you, which we will hear in a moment. I hope you don't mind that you see me in a purple color here. I think something's going on with the camera and I wasn't able to find out what it is. So I hope you don't mind. Before we start with the conversation, I'd just like to mention a few technical notes. In my email, I had already informed you that we are recording the event and that we are taking pictures, so photos and screenshots during the event. And for this purpose, we need this signed document, which you all received via email. Since there are many participants, it is important that you mute your microphone if you're not speaking to minimize any interfering noises. The chat will be open at all times so that you can ask questions or contribute when not speaking. And this also applies to technical questions. So if you have a problem, just tell us and we try to fix it. Our conversation will take about 1 hour, and afterwards we will keep the WebEx meeting open so that you can talk for another half an hour if you like. Just one other hint, you can switch between the view at the top right of the Cisco WebEx meeting window. You can change the view to choose between 3 different views and either active speaker so that you only see the person who is speaking at the moment, or that you can see all of the members of the meeting. Yes, so now we will see a video of Fiona Evans, who is the US consul here in Düsseldorf. Because the sound quality is unfortunately not so good when I share my screen with you, I will just release a YouTube link in the chat where you can watch the video individually. So we tried it when I shared my screen, but the sound was not good enough. So here it is very important when you watch it individually that you mute your own microphone. And the video takes about 4 minutes, so please watch it, and afterwards we will hand over to Mr. Wegener. So now I hand over to Mr. Wegener, the president of the Auslandsgesellschaft, and afterwards Mr. Bars has the floor to ask you the questions and start the meeting.
Thanks a lot. Can you hear and see me now?
No.
Can everybody hear and see me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, but just talk to us. Can't see you. It's okay. We know your face, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the reason because here is everything okay, but however, a very warm welcome from Dortmund to Buffalo this afternoon here. This is really sunny weather in Dortmund, and I'm so happy to see you again. I see Barbara, Lynn, and Greg, and all the other ones. We love you, and it's really a mess that since 37 years, this year is the first time that our exchange program is cancelled due to Corona. And it's really a mess for all the young people who were able to come to Buffalo this year, and they can't go now. And maybe next year, and I'm not sure if the same pupils can go next year again. But this year, as you know, it's no chance to visit each other. And so it's much more important for all of us that we keep this exchange running, that we keep this friendship between Dortmund and Buffalo running. And that's really very important for us. And I think with this new possibilities online, we can see and hear each other, and the guest parents and guest brothers and sisters can talk to their partners in Germany. It's really a great idea. And as I said yesterday, I have a laughing eye and a crying eye, and my laughing eye is that we have the chance to come together on this online basis, and my crying eye, it's really a mess for us that we don't have this exchange this year. So let's hope that the world is another one next year and we can see each other again. And for today, I wish you a very nice conversation and nice talks. And I'm really happy that we have this chance. And so take this chance, and I love you all. So have a nice time today. Thank you. Garrett.
I'd like to start our dialogue in asking everybody which kind of memories and feelings she or he has about the last exchange. I mean, for some Germans, it might have been a different world, different style of living in the United States when they lived in the families. For some of the American families who were wonderful hosts, it might have been sometimes strange to see the different manners and attitudes of young Germans. And I don't know, maybe just you start to tell us a little bit. Angelika, will you start?
Sure. Okay, let me think. Because I have many memories and feelings still stored in my head that it's really hard to pick some. But I know that it didn't take a very long time for me to feel at home in my host family with the Kleinmans and Emma as my host sister. Because they are very warm people and they made me feel at home right away. And I know that it was difficult to adjust to the different kind of school. It was all girls and I wasn't used to that. And Americans have a lot more homework than Germans get. So I remember very long nights. But that was all right because on the weekends we had a lot of fun together. So only positive feelings.
Your hosts are with us today, the Kleinmans, and they might respond to your impressions with their own impressions about these strange German young people coming over.
Well, we were very happy to have Angelika live with us for 4 months in the fall of 2015 already. I can't believe it's been 5 years. But what was nice about the whole experience is that we've become very good friends. Even my wife and I have become very good friends with her parents. And we've actually we've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to visit with them, either someone from their family or someone from our family, seeing each other in person every year since her exchange program with us.
With the exception of this year.
Yeah, this year broke the streak, but yep. You know, we just become lifelong friends, it feels like, and we're just very happy for the experience. In fact, we did so many fun things on the weekends that finally they said, "Can we just stop and just relax one of these weekends that we're here?" Because I feel like we pretty much did something every weekend when she was here. So.
Maybe Jano is going to tell us his experiences and memories because he was in Buffalo only 2 years ago.
Yeah, sure.
I was with the McGuires and Joe. So Joe and Gary, you probably all know them, and they are wonderful and made me feel at home right away. And I had really a blast being in Buffalo. And also the school, St. Joe's, was a good experience, I think, because it was all about, like, it was a more familiar situation than in a German school, I guess, because you knew more people, and like you had the high school sports with, I did rowing, and I had a great team and a good time there, and it was really nice time for me. Yeah.
I don't see your hosts. Are they around? No, they are not. The McGuires didn't join us, so we continue with Linus. Linus, your host family is with us. Yeah, 2018.
Yeah, I was staying with Barbara, and she's a very lovely person as well. I feel like the stay in my host family from my stay with Barbara was like very similar to like at home with her family, because she was cooking nice food all the time, which I was used to. And I think the biggest difference from my life in Germany was the high school, and especially the sports part, because I was doing crew with Jano. And unlike in Germany, all the sports in America are like really connected to the high school. So it was just, everything was timed perfectly. You had like, I don't know, 6 hours of school, and then you would go to crew practice like 2 or 3 hours every day. And I really liked that about this whole experience I made during my stay.
Tom, yeah.
Yeah, I really had a nice. Can you hear me? Yeah. Like, I stayed with the Angles. Like, they're here too. And yeah, it was a really nice time, especially the first weeks. Like, when school, it was a big part, like, to go to school there, have soccer practice after school. But especially in the first, I think, 3 weeks, it was the best time in my life. So it was a really nice experience. And afterwards, I'm still in contact with all the Teilnehmende boys, and then you like get the feeling of how close the school, like how close you get with the boys and the school and the teachers there, and still have some really, really good memories about the time in Buffalo.
Was he a good boy?
Was he a good boy? Was that the question? Do I have to answer? Hey, Anna, maybe you should answer.
No, Tom was a great student to have. It was a pleasure. In fact, we had one other boy the previous year, so it was great. And then the next year we had 2 boys staying with us last year. But I think Tom was probably at the top of that list.
Yeah. Tom, you made the grade.
You made the grade. Tom's he's so easygoing.
And the German sarcasm was wonderful. It was refreshing because I never knew if he was serious or not. It was fantastic.
I think I got this really nice mug from Tom, and so it's a good thing to have. But the memories for us are great. That's what's special about, I think, this entire program. Even our memories as students on the program, dating back a long time ago, but it's maybe not for Lynn, but as much for me, that I still am in contact with my host family from 1982. So it's about building these relationships, and we realized last year that the students who participate in this program are really ambassadors for their country, ambassadors for their city, just like the students are here from Buffalo and Western New York.
Anna, do you have anything to say about Tom? Give us a word.
I'll come over to Tom in a moment. I wanted to say that my experience with this program started 2015 when Tim and Lisa came, our first two exchange students. And unfortunately, don't have the same opportunity as the Germans to stay the 4-month program with the Americans, but I got at least to do the exchange in 2016 for 2 weeks. And really, I feel like that changed the game for like every student that was involved to become more international in what they were doing. We're still like all in contact, and I remember the group from 2016 that only went to Germany for 2 weeks was still in contact like every day, which is really beautiful. Since those moments, we've had exchange students like every year, and I can agree that Tom's at the top. And I know this is gonna sound weird because we're all like praising Tom right now, but it's true. Like I only got to hang out with I only got to hang out with Tom for a little bit because I had to go to college. And like Thanksgiving and stuff, but like it was really cool to have all of these exchange students, especially mixing it up a little bit, getting 2 boys last year and Tommy before, Simone, all of these people. So I think it's really beneficial, and it's really turned an international eye for all of the students involved. Most of the students that I know that have done the international program have gone to study internationally, whether that be study abroad or in some different program. And so I think it's a really great gateway for people to kind of pursue a different path worldwide or globally. So it's very beneficial, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad this is like part of my life. I'm forced to be with my parents.
But Anna, since you are anyway in Europe, it's just a short trip to come over to Dortmund to see your old friends personally. And if you are already in Europe, you can travel freely without any restrictions. Yeah, Sisi.
Sisi.
Benvenuta, signorina.
I try not to make it bring it to a personal level while I'm not traveling. But my visa, because of the coronavirus, they extended my visa, but only Italy. So I legally cannot go to another moment, unfortunately. But next year.
Okay, we do it then virtually.
Come back to Italy, remember.
So. Barbara, I'm not sure, we lost you in between for a moment. But you are back, I see, and if you want to say something, you have to put your microphone on. Have you heard what Linus has said about you?
I did not hear what Linus said about me. I'll say it again. I'll survive. Linus was one of my best kids. I think that one of the major advantages of the program is that when the kids come over, all of a sudden, especially the boys, they're automatically involved in sports, and that becomes a huge way for them to meet, other American students, and how important that is. Plus, of course, all the things that we do and the trips that we take and things like that. For me, it's just been a fantastic experience. As you know, I've had kids for 20 years, and each time it's just been so enriching for me and so important, and it just increases my understanding of of our whole political situation and between Germany and America, and so it's been great.
Barbara, just because you mentioned you did a lot of trips, I'm sure you all went over to Canada. It's just hopping over, into the Niagara Falls or Niagara. Can you travel to Canada at the time being, or is the border closed? Still closed?
No, we can't. Nope. No, the border's closed, and it looks like it's going to be closed at least until almost the end of August, and probably longer.
Okay. Then I would like to introduce Merit. She has said anything. Merit, hello. You have been in Buffalo 2 years ago, haven't you?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, yes, I stayed with the O'Sheas. I saw you here too. I'm so happy to see you here. Yes, I had a really great time, and it's so wonderful to meet so many new people. All the families put so much effort to make a great time, make a great time for all of the kids. Yes, it's so great to meet new people and not just to meet them, to build a connection with each other. And yes, make friends all over the world. It's so great, and I hope it stays forever and we don't lose connections. And so I'm so happy that we have this meeting here today. Yes, it really makes me happy to see a lot of people I didn't see in a while. Yes.
Yeah, then I hand over to your host family. They are with us. Yeah.
It's really nice to see you too. We miss you so much. And thank you to everybody for putting this together today. We were talking about like some of the favorite memories. I think mine was actually seeing Merritt and Terrence surfing in California. That was so it wasn't even a Buffalo memory, but we did a California trip, and that was fun. It's great. I'm a teacher at the school where Merritt attended and Angelica attended. Emma. And it's a really important part of the school to have the German students come in every year. The students at the school really love that connection, and there's just as a teacher over the years, I've seen so many friendships develop. And Merritt, I also need to tell you, Mr. Oliver, who I saw last night, says hello, by the way.
I see your daughter in the background. Has she been already to Dortmund or to Germany, or has he canceled the plans for her at the time being?
No.
So we're hoping to all be in Germany next summer. That's
okay. Next summer we welcome you in Dortmund, and we are glad to see you then here. So I think everybody said something, or did I oversee somebody?
I would like to. I'd like to say one thing. That Tom really had a second host family, the Voorheeses, because after soccer practice, Tom would live there until I could pick Tom up after I was done at work. So he really had two host families during his stay. So maybe the Voorheeses have something to contribute.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
We're at. Yeah. There, please.
Where's Finn?
It's good to see you.
Please, yeah.
It's good to see you, Tom.
It's good.
You there?
See you too.
Okay.
Where's Finn? He didn't make it?
I don't know. I hope he's not in jail. Marianne was saying that we've heard from John Luca and Finn over the past few months with the pandemic and everything. And we haven't heard from Pele, who we had last year.
It's a little heartbreaking because we don't know how he's doing. And things were rough.
Okay, then let's start. Then after we had exchanged a little bit our experience in the exchange program, I would propose that we tell each other a little bit how the life has changed in our countries. I mean, all over the world, Corona has changed a lot. In Germany, I have to say, after about 8-10 weeks of lockdown, where all the businesses and restaurants and bars and so schools were closed, we come back to normal now with precaution. We all have our masks with us. We put it on our face when we leave the building and go to the train or to the bus or in a store or groceries. I guess the situation is similar in America. Aha. No, you have a mark, not a mask. I see it. David, yeah. It's, Barbara,
I want to say something. Yeah.
Yes, please.
America is such a big country. Me now? I can't hear anybody. America is such a big country that it's different in all the states. New York State happens, we're very lucky that in New York State, everything is being strictly enforced and strictly adhered to. People are cooperating and wearing the masks when they're supposed to, and it works. But in many, many states, that's not the case at all. And so that's why, here in the U.S., you can't just say in the U.S. we do this, we do that. But in New York State, we can say we wear the masks, we're careful, we socially distance, and tend not to violate those kinds of rules.
Yeah, Andrew Cuomo as a governor had reacted quite early and strictly, what we could read in our papers and see on television, but the situation in New York City was horrible in the beginning in the hospitals. Eh?
And it's much better now, and we're now down to 1% in New York State, 1% of positive coronavirus cases.
Glad to hear that. What we experienced also in our lockdown phase, that solidarity and neighborhood help increased a lot, that young people looked after their elderly neighbors, did the errands for them and groceries and things like that. There was a new kind of coming together. I wonder if you have experienced a similar thing.
I think that we did. Yes, in New York, definitely. I think we did. I think that there were kids who got together and just volunteered. I know that kids from St. Joe's had several programs, even though the school was closed. They had several programs where they were doing their volunteer work and helping out with all kinds of activities. So yeah, that's the way it was here.
I saw David nodding. You want to add something?
Yeah, so even though, we have to wear a mask, we can still show our pride with our sister city in Dortmund, because in my mask here, I have my BVB mask. So, I can show my Dortmund pride when I go out in public.
Can you show it once again so that we can take a picture?
Yeah, everybody can show his mask, his message. Maybe some of the younger students might add something how the experience was when all the schools or colleges had been closed. How was it to learn by Skype or Zoom or digital e-learning? Maybe someone can share the experiences in America or in Germany.
We were at the beginning of the pandemic, so I never went to a single class this semester. And everything was over our ICAP page, which is the university's page. And to be honest, I'm not a fan. I don't enjoy to learn online. I don't think it's as sufficient, obviously, as being in person. And I think everyone can agree to this. I think at least with the professors, you have to be as patient as you can be because they're going through the same thing as us. But I think that the institution really needs to change the best it can to accommodate the students, whether that be financially or in some way. Because for me, I disagree with paying full tuition for something like this. I disagree to be evaluated the same way as I would to be if I were in person. You understand? So I think we're fortunate enough to have such a connection where I can speak to you in Germany while at the same time speaking to my parents in New York. It's something very beautiful that we can do. But we need to find a more effective method or a more effective way to evaluate students, because I don't think this is a proper way to only give an education. I mean, like my sister is an educator for very young children. And even tell them they cannot hug each other, that they cannot, she cannot help write something that she cannot touch them or do something. We need to find a solution, and that comes with compliance. And compliance is something that, at least for me as an outsider, I'm not seeing across the whole United States. And I know it's a federal system, so we can look from state to state, and it's difficult to really evaluate all of it, but this is unnecessary. And we've seen it in issues such as Italy and Germany. We've seen the numbers come down, and hopefully soon. But you cannot force a student to go to school. If somebody tried to force me to go to school and I fear for my safety, I will not go. So I think it's really a reform in the system that we really need, and also one that has to do with tuition and university costs, because I don't know if anybody here is in university in Germany, but you can compare tuition compared in Germany to the US. For me, because I have to go back to the US next week, I'm not prepared, nor we are prepared to pay this ridiculous amount of money for an education on a screen this big, you know? So it's a little frustrating as a student, and it's not something that I really was looking forward to.
Angelika, you wanted to say something? I saw a reaction in Germany, how the school was, as the university was going.
Yeah, I was just reacting because she was talking in Germany, and even if you don't have to pay a lot of money for your classes, it's still not the same not to see your school from the inside. It's just, I miss seeing people in person, even though I'm lucky enough to have friends close who I can see in private and we can study together. And that helps, but still, it's just not the same. I haven't seen my school from the inside this whole semester. I have exams next week, which I'm terrified of because I have no idea if I studied for the right things. And I don't know, I think Emma wanted to say something about tuition.
Well, I was actually gonna say, I am a music minor, so I'm taking a bunch of music classes. And it's hard for people with majors that are, you can only do so much online. It's really hard to, do voice lessons online when you can't be right there with your voice teacher, or music, piano lessons, or, I was, doing clinicals with at like a senior living center. And so then I couldn't visit them, and it was just a lot that was taken away, and like choir couldn't meet. So, even though I was still taking classes, there was a lot that I was paying for that I still wasn't able to receive. So I agree with Anna that, there's only,
We have even a teacher among us, Tim. How is it for a teacher not to see the students?
Well, I'm gonna, Patty's a teacher too. I'm gonna let her answer that.
As a teacher, it is difficult because there are many families that do not have the resources financially to provide for their own children at home. So a lot of times the only meals that the students get are those in school. So having or not being able to go into school to get those meals makes it very difficult for us. As far as their education and their lessons, it was really kind of a crapshoot. Some students were really good and they showed up to every online class that we had, and some students who I thought would do very badly ended up excelling that way. And then students who typically do very well in a structured school setting did horribly with distance learning. So it was a very interesting thing, and I hope to God we're back in class in September.
Anna, was it lifting your hand? You wanted to say something? Add something?
And you can even students access to internet and to the computer. Like what happened in Buffalo, you saw so many students going home in Buffalo school systems. And you have a lot of refugees and immigrants in Buffalo, and so what they put out recently, maybe in the past 2 or 3 months, was they were looking for volunteers to teach some students. And okay, so we say yes, we can volunteer or something like this, but the students have no access to internet at home. that's the thing. It's like, I think people don't realize how much of a home the school can be for certain students. Like, as you said, like, that's the only meal that they're given for the day, or maybe they feel safer at school than they do at home. So I think it's a much bigger problem than it is just like, oh, I can't learn this way. It's like, well, some students like can only learn or can only survive a decent life when they go to school. So I think it's interesting.
Maybe the other students, Merit, Jano, Tom, Linus, want to add something? Has anybody else different experiences or similar? Who wants to start?
Yeah, I can say something like school for us was, I think, pretty easy because we only had like positive impacts on our grades. So when we didn't do a thing, we would just have the same grades as before Corona. So it was also really easy to procrastinate, and I can't say I didn't. So it was hard to like do all the tasks, but if you stayed on track and did most of it, you're probably fine now and can easily pursue your academic future more. And I think like German schools did pretty well with like not losing kids even if they didn't have like the opportunities to do that much, because it was more easygoing, I think. Yeah, or maybe it's just my school, because I heard some different stories from other schools. Like when they reopened the schools in Dortmund, we had the opportunity to go to school almost every day, and other schools, they just didn't have any classes for like a month after the schools could reopen. So I think my school, Tom's and Linus, yeah, we did pretty okay, yeah.
So, but I got you right that for the lazy guys, it was a profit during Corona. With little efforts, you could go your way and pass the exams, because the teachers tried not to lose someone due to Corona. That's what I understood.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's use the opportunity to discuss also other experiences or other themes and subjects. I'm wondering, in these times, Corona is a dominant subject, an important theme, but are there other development themes or subjects of concern in Buffalo or in Dortmund, themes you are discussing or which might change a little bit the life or your situation? I wonder who wants to start with that. Maybe in Buffalo, Barbara again, or someone else?
Sure. I'll be glad to start. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. For me, I have a small practice, and we were able to. The courts all closed down completely for 6 weeks, and then they gradually started to reopen, but only virtually. We don't have in-person court appearances. It's made a very big difference in ability to meet with clients, because I can't do it except by the telephone. And so I'm starting now to meet clients like out at the park or out in the open or in a restaurant. But fortunately, I was still able to have all my employees work, and they were able to work from home, and we were able to connect and do everything. So I was able to work, but it was very different.
I think besides the health concerns, the economic impact has changed a lot in America, maybe even more than here in Germany, in Europe. But also here we have a number of people in difficulties. Is it so?
it's at least in Buffalo, it's not only the people that are in difficulty. I'm sure it is in other places, businesses, especially the smaller ones that depended on walking traffic off the street and stuff like that, that are in serious jeopardy. And I have a feeling some of the hard hit areas that were hard hit prior to Corona are going to be totally wiped out in terms of businesses because they just cannot survive. So the amount of for sale signs that are going to go up for real estate is going to be a lot. And that's what I think. On the other hand, I think next summer is going to be an explosion. Because if we have an antidote and everybody is released from their quarantine and seeing each other, everybody's going to go out and there's going to be an explosion of events and people are just going to like celebrate that we can go out and have a good time and not worry.
Yeah, we hope all that it comes to happen and that the virus is not affecting our lives still another year. It all depends on do they find a medication? Do they find a proper vaccine and things like that? But we all hope it's going to be better. In Germany, I see that probably about a third of all restaurants, little hotels, businesses are in real trouble, and I'm not sure if they will survive this year to be able to host the people. I guess that's the worldwide problem. Yeah. Angelika?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I'm all the people who graduated high school in Germany this year, because I mean, they don't necessarily have economic problems, but when I graduated, I was free to do whatever. And in 2018, when I got my Abitur, Emma was visiting that summer, and she had just graduated high school too. And it was a great summer because we were in a good mood and we could enjoy the time and knowing that, you know, we were done with school and looking forward to university. And my brother, who graduated high school last year, he worked a very hard job to save up money to be able to travel this summer. And now he can't do that. And I just feel so sorry for him. That all his hopes and expectations for the time after school just, you know, burst. And yeah, for everyone who's done with high school now, I don't know, I hope they find something which makes them as happy as having the chance to travel.
Yeah, I hope we have improvement next year, indeed, as we have expressed before, but it can be still a long time of difficulties and trouble for many. I mean, the perspective for young people in America as in Germany to find a job, to find apprenticeship or something like that has deteriorated a lot due to Corona, I guess.
I told my wife at the beginning of this, the virus, and as it got progressively worse, that I picked a very good time to be retired because I don't have to worry about it. And it was really my heart goes out to all the people who have a hard time working from home, dealing with family, kids at home, interruptions, et cetera, schools, education, teachers, students, you know, just on and on. I have a tribute outside to all the essential workers and people who have to go to work every day despite what, you know, facing the illness, but they have to go to work. So It's a good time for me to be retired. That's all I have to say. And Greg, I need to go to your place of work, man, because I need some lumber and some veneer like crazy.
Okay. Well, one thing I was going to say was that being locked down like we have been since March, and now things are slowly opening, I begin to realize how lucky we are as individuals to have been able to travel, to go places and do things, and not to take things for granted anymore. That when an opportunity presents itself, please do those things. Don't just think about it, but get out and do it. Find a way to take advantage of that situation, that opportunity, because who knows what the future might be. And we hope that it just will become positive, healthier, and so that we all can come back and see each other again someday, and just be safe about it. But really, now that we're slowly being able to get out, we are finding new ways to enjoy our areas and hope that soon we'll be back in Dortmund.
Yeah, I'm also glad having retired last year. It makes it easier, but my heart goes out also to all the young people who want to start their career nowadays, and it is tough and difficult, and they need a lot of patience, and I hope most of them will make it financially somehow with the support of parents or family or something like that, but it is frustrating nevertheless, and it might last much longer to start the professional life, of course. I think Greg has said a good word for the end of this discussion. If no one wants to add anything to it now, I would propose we leave everything open, the connections, that you can chat with each other as you want, but without any kind of anchorman who had to retire anyway last year and is going to shut up his mouth and leaves it open to you now to talk to each other. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, maybe, as I said in the beginning, we will leave the meeting open for another half an hour so that you can exchange and talk a bit, and yeah, maybe watch the video. I don't know if you've already seen it, but Lynn and Greg made a video with for the Student Ambassador program, which I also like to share with you. And I hope you see the link. It's a very great video of the Buffalo Dortmund Student Ambassador program. You must have seen the video. Thank you very much for this interesting dialogue and for the exchange. And yeah, you can chat some more if you like.
Yeah, all right. That's the only question I had. Burning question. All right, I'm going swimming, guys. Good night. Love you. Mwah. Love you too, Tom. Enos, Yano, Marga, Beta. Have an awesome day. Mwah. Mwah. Mwah.
Still alive.
We'll talk later, Marga. I can't hear you, Marga, but we'll talk later. Okay. Tschüss, ciao. Ciao, Bella.
Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen. Bye. I can't get out. I can't leave the meeting. It won't let me go. Bye.
Bye.
All right, I have to go to a party too. It was nice seeing you.